This evening we're going to talk about the Navajo basket, a sacred basket that is used for a variety of ways. And I guess our conversation is going to be about the idea behind all of this stuff. Usually I talk about the level of common knowledge, ceremonial knowledge, and esoteric knowledge. I want to take you through those levels of knowledge using the basket as a teaching tool. This whole idea of how does it begin, where did it begin, where did it initiate? How did this all come about? How did this weave come about as it is now? Its design, what's the purpose for it?
Our country. Sergeant of
There, you got a real nice one there.
There's one of the pens around here. Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the Navajo basket this evening, and I'm going to start the whole idea of creation, and I'm going to try to move through that paradigm that I always talk about, the 4 levels of knowledge, and then the implementation of that knowledge. That's what I want to talk about. So if you'll keep up with me, some of this will be probably new to you. I try to make contemporary the knowledge of the Diné in their own mind and their own language. It comes out in certain ways, but when you start looking at the metaphors and the analogies, you start finding the actual reasons and meanings behind why the wedding basket was, this Navajo basket was created the way it is. But I'm going to start out of creation. If you look at the design of a wedding basket, pass it around. If you look at it and hold it like that, you'll notice that there's a place where the weave comes together, and it's really right directly across the opening into the universe. The opening into the universe. Remember what we call the opening of the universe? Yaganahoka, right? Ya-ra-nahoka. There's Ya, universe, Ra, through the universe, Nahoka, there's a place. Okay, that stargate or the opening into the universe is represented there. And the beginning of creation begins there. And when you look at the weaving from the side, okay, if you look at the weaving from the side, if you look at that basket itself, you're going to see a little X that forms right there towards the end. Okay, that one's probably the same way too. Take a look at it. See the X? Oh no, yeah. Okay. There's the X right there, right? You'll see it. Okay. That's the beginning. And some people say that X right there is that place, the what we call Ts'aa, the star that does not change its position. In other words, Polaris. The Polaris star. It's the North Star, Northern Star, where Cassiopeia and Big Dipper circle around it. It shows the way. So the metaphor in that design is this will show you the way. This is the beginning. The original spark of life, the original creation, the original all that starts right here. The emergence begins and it goes clockwise. If you follow that chain, it starts going inward. See, it's going to the next level now. Keep following it. Goes inward to the next level. so on all the way down, all the way to the center. That's your journey. All the way to the center. And it goes back into emptiness. So there's a little hole there in the center. You can see through it, you go over up to it. Right. That is also the Yaganahoka. Yaganahoka. Yah, universal, Ga, through it. Nahoka, there's a place out there somewhere. And taking that idea, then you take that place, Nahoka, Naka, you put things in here. You put jewelry in here, you put Tridadine in here, you put things that are necessary to utilize in life, like Tridadine bags. As far as this, the two bags, yellow corn and white corn, that's all it is. So it keeps things in here sacred. So yellow corn, white corn, those little molecules of corn that you grind, they become representatives of protons, neutrons, electrons, single matter. Is expressed through the pollen, or we keep the stars, if you want to call it that, or if you just call it the protons, neutrons, electrons of life. You keep it in the place of creation. So the life substance is in the basket. So when you say Yaganahoka, there is a place out there in the universe, as if there is a basket where the substance of life is. Okay. That's the metaphor that people don't talk about. So
is that for like weddings?
Weddings, just going out in the morning, doing a prayer. You take your basket out there with you.
What else?
You use it for a variety of things. Well, you use it for Ts'aa, okay, bathing ceremonies. Okay. You use it for Ts'aa, ceremonial process, or you use it as a drum. Okay, that's the lag or khatar, a different system of chant. It's used for keeping things in there. It's used for describing and utilizing it as a basket for sometimes wartime, where you place war articles in here, such as arrowheads and so on. But we won't get into a lot of those details. So it's used for in a variety of ways. His phone thing.
Okay. That's my phone.
Okay. So the Yah Ganahoka. Nahoka is what we're talking about now. Yah is already here. Ra is we travel through in and out of Ra in different places. In other words, as I said before in another presentation, we are that Yaganahoka. Okay, in a different way of thinking. Okay, think about it in a variety of different ways. For instance, the example of the crystal. There's different things of subject matter. You can see things differently. So in this case, we're using the idea of Yah, Ra, Nahoka. There is a place, there is a niche where sacredness exists. Okay. D8 could be its constant. That's why just when I said the door opened. It was the wind. So this is where life begins. Okay, we talk about ending of life, even though people say you're not supposed to talk about the ending of life, but there's a beginning and there's an ending. There's a reformation, there's a different way of life. Those things are very real that do go on. So there is ka, jaka, you carry it with you. There is ka, it exists somewhere. Okay. So when we take a look at the structure of the basket, okay, again starting from the center and working our way out. Okay, it's counterclockwise. But when you start from the outside and you work your way in, it's clockwise. remember that a lot of our ceremonies, when you get sick, things have a tendency to go in a clockwise movement. Things are out of order. So in a lot of those songs and chants, you go back in a clockwise, counterclockwise fashion to go back down to the original creation and then come back up. So things are done in counterclockwise. Aidle, you go back to the original source of knowledge, you gather the knowledge, and then you go back and come back in a clockwise fashion. Aidle ben ka. So it's important to understand that sometimes when you go to Hogan, right? Ts'aa na ata, azu eta sheta shu eto na ata, usually tell you, even in the NAC ceremony, it's the same way. There's a certain way you walk in it. You can't go clockwise. Otherwise you're doing the negative stuff. Okay, but in order to heal, you have to do the negative stuff. In other words, you must understand negativity to make it positive again. The negative energy and the positive energy. Okay, so suggesting that using the basket, the whole idea that there is a clockwise movement and then there's a counterclockwise movement to unravel, to undo, to rediscover, and then put it back into motion again. Okay. The message is in that way. When you sing the songs of creating the basket, that's what you're singing. There's the clockwise order and the reverse order. And the message in that is talking about how we have negative energy and positive energy in our being. How we can use our right brain function, which is very linear in its function, as opposed to the right side, which is our left side, which controls our right side. Okay, that's the positive energy function. So in the basket, it represents negative energy and positive energy simultaneously. Okay, so that's thinking beyond just the obvious. If you're very literal, and if you don't think beyond closing your eyes and seeing with your sacred eye, you won't get it. But if you think about it just in linear terms, that way you won't get it. But if you close your eyes and think about it differently, and see differently, then you can understand, oh yeah, the message coming out of this is the linear process and the circular process happening simultaneously.